When they talk about climate change, they're not taking into account all of the weather modification that's been happening for ages. As you probably heard, I discovered that there was even a 30-year-old cloud seeding operation happening over my head. And they try to say it's just silver iodide, but what you'll find is they're not disclosing that the flares contain aluminum powders and zinc, copper.
Dr. Jane Ruby just sent us a sample of something that fell on a plastic covering of her porch crops, right? Her tomato plants or whatever in Florida. She sent us a sample for lab analysis. That's in analysis right now. Next week, we'll have some results. But clearly something's falling out of the sky that shouldn't be there. I mean, there's this thick white coating, like grayish, whitish coating on the plastic that shouldn't be there.
I'm glad you just said that, because actually I was collecting pollen samples. And recently, I cover so many topics, by the way, Mike, on my Substack. There were these 20-foot, 30-foot long spider webs, silks falling from the sky, these strands. And it was so bizarre that I also collected samples. And then I have 3 people looking under microscopes to try to figure out what is this? What is this material? It's not spider silk, clearly. And then, as you know, there was that symposium or that conference talking about how this also happened in Europe. So all of these spider webs were falling from the sky. And what they're finding is that they appear to be some sort of delivery mechanisms, and for chemicals or, whatever they might want to put into these fibers. And so I've been covering so many things regarding geoengineering, stuff falling from the sky. You have insect drops. You've got, genetically modified mosquitoes they're releasing. I mean, it's everything possible is being unleashed.
Well. Didn't we have another video here? But anyway, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to show you around the office here real quick. Let me show you something, okay? Some of you don't know who I am. Some of you do know who I am, but this is me, okay? I retired from ING after a 27-year career as a certified financial planner, designations and certificates, diplomas, all that kind of stuff right here. It's all real, folks. This is all TED, okay? It's not some made-up background or anything else like this. You're seeing all the things that are given to me by people, okay? And then these are the Master Baster and Baster hats we have coming up, because we have our big beach bash coming up. This is a little bit about who is Ted Provenza. And why am I out here, and why am I trying to help you, and why am I out there trying to screw you like everybody else is? Well, because we are sitting at the cusp of a very, very important change right now. We are watching the end of the current financial system currently run by the Bank for International Settlements. Now, a couple of things I wanted to point out over here to you guys. All right. Oops. Uh-oh. So we can get that back up. Look. The cost of a new car in 2000 was $22,195. The cost of a new car right now is $48,105. That's an increase of 216%. Okay, do you follow me? Let's take a look at a house. A house in 2000 was $162,894. It's now $417,529. That's a 256% increase in housing cost. This is the kicker here. The median income in 2000 was $31,718. It hasn't doubled to $62,000 and change, has it? No, it's gone up to $43,529, which is only a 28% increase. So those of you that are wondering why you're falling behind, why we're seeing so many incidences of delinquencies and people not making their credit card payments, car payments, house payments, mortgage payments, whatever, okay? The bottom line is the liquidity is being withdrawn from our economy because the cost of living is going up at a much faster pace than you can afford. So if you're trying to quantify your wealth in terms of dollars, okay, under the old system, let's take back to the time machine here and show them where we are, okay? If you're quantifying your wealth in terms of dollars, in the year 2029, if you continue doing that, you're $885,000 in the red. What I suggest you do is why not quantify your wealth in terms of real money, not in terms of the fiat dollars, because other countries, they don't quantify their wealth that way. Let me show you. We're over here at the U.S. debt clock here, folks. Okay, let me show you what we're talking about. We're going to go to the world debt clocks here. This is how much debt all the countries have, right? I'm going to scroll through this like this. My question to you is, do you see any country that's not in debt? How can every country be in debt and no country have all the assets? Because the countries don't own the wealth. You know who does own the wealth? The Bank for International Settlements. Let me show you. Okay. So let me show you the Bank for International Settlements. It's right here. Okay. No sleight of hand. You go to bis.org. You come across the gray bar up here. Central Bank Hub. No. Okay. This is the way it goes. Central Bank and Monetary Authority websites. Go here. You can do this at home. Pick any letter of the alphabet. Let's just pick O. See what comes up. Oh, okay. Well, we got Oman and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. We also have Pakistan. Every country, bar one or two, like North Korea, is owned by the Bank for International Settlements. They own the currencies in that country. How much more wealth can you have? My Lord. Controlling all the wealth of all the people, 8 billion people on the face of the planet, not actually giving them any of the money that they're earning, because what you're doing is giving them script. You're giving them pieces of paper like what we're going to see over here. This is what the banks have giving people. They're not giving you real purchasing power. They used to a long time ago, but not anymore. Look how many years, look how many tens of decades, centuries have been going on. This is what happens. They get you to part with your real money, give you a receipt for your real money. Then you know what they do? They renege on the receipt. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. But all these currency notes here were exchanged for someone's finite purchasing power, their time, effort, whatever. Look at the DNA that's on that piece of paper here. Can you see how that was folded up and kept in somebody's back pocket and used to pay for food or rent or whatever? Take a look at the last currency reset we had right there. It was called the greenback. Flip it over and show them that's green. Okay. Now, what I'd like to take a look at here, and the next one down is a silver certificate, right? That was actually issued by the United States of America, the Treasury. Okay. Let's go to the next one down here. A United States note. United States note. What is a note, folks? Okay. Certainly not issued by the Treasury. It doesn't say Treasury. Is a note a debt instrument? Well, then we go back to the silver certificate here. Another example of it. A $5 Federal Reserve note. Interesting. What is a note? If you have a note on your car, doesn't it have something to do with debt? Oh, so somebody owes you something for this, right? So you're collecting debt certificates, and the idea is you're going to exchange those debt certificates for the silver. That's why you had a silver certificate, right? Well, guess what? That promise has been broken, hasn't it? So let's suppose that you just say, hey, I think I want to start to exit this fiat system we got going on over there. Let's just go out and buy silver. Well, there's a lot of different types of silver. You want to buy a 10-ounce bar? Who's that issued by? How many transactions you get out of a 10-ounce bar? Well, I said, no, maybe I want to divide up but I'll still buy the rounds. Bars and rounds are going to cost you more than the dimes. The dimes are the best deal going right now. I've negotiated this down to 99 cents over spot. And you know what? It's going to be very, very hard to try to counterfeit any of those because there's such a small denomination of real money. Now, of course, you could go to quarters, but you're losing 2.5 times the divisibility. Now, keep in mind, $1.40 in pre-1965 coinage equals 1 troy ounce of pure silver, much like this type 1 American silver equal here. So why aren't we talking about type 2? Well, because David Ryder, he retired from Honeywell, absolutely brought some of that tracking technology with him over into our currency, our money, our mint. So gives you a little bit of background about who I am, why I'm out here right now. As I see an opportunity that's bar none. So much so that Ted decided, and Margaret Ann decided we'd come out of retirement and tell people about this, because if you do it right, you get into the coin of the realm, it's going to change your life. It's going to change generations. I don't really care where you get the dimes from. That's why this channel is not monetized. We'll help you out when it gets to when the reset is over as far as silver is concerned. Then you're going to need to be very concerned about how you have your title, your property titled. So we're going to be helping you with what's called setting up a revocable living trust and setting up a trust-based estate plan. So if you want to move along with that, we have something called a TED Speaks Kit or TED Ed Kit. Get you started, get you the book, a hat, all the other fun stuff you need to get started. Plus, we'll have your name on our list so we know who's helping us and who we can help as well. IRS bombshell leaked 1985 letter from IRS Commissioner exposes the 16th Amendment is a fraud. Income tax was never legal. $330 trillion stolen. Time to give it back. I say you get it back and you put it in dimes ASAP and join the party.
Pelosi has a little problem because her husband sold their Visa stock. They had a lot of Visa stock one day before Visa was announced that Visa is being sued by the Department of Justice. Think of that. Nancy Pelosi sold vast amounts of Visa stock one day before the big lawsuit that we all read about a few days ago was brought against Visa. You think it was luck? I don't think. She should be prosecuted.
The same darkness can only be exposed once, folks. It's wild to see people who robbed us blind trying to justify being upset at us for catching them. That's a little rich, isn't it? Wait until, with the stroke of a pen, JFK was on his way to putting the Federal Reserve Bank of New York out of business. If enough of these silver certificates were to come into circulation, they would have eliminated the demand for Federal Reserve notes. Why is this? Because the silver certificates were backed by silver, and the Federal Reserve notes were not backed by anything. Remember Trump and JFK? Is it our turn next? I think it is.
No president has been brave enough to touch it since. Will President Trump? We've got President John F. Kennedy. He understood the private central bank's agenda and wrote and signed Executive Order 11110 that ordered the U.S. Treasury to issue a new government-backed currency called the United States notes. They were created by the U.S. government, backed by the silver stockpiles held by the U.S. government. About $4.5 billion went into public circulation. 5 months later, Kennedy was assassinated, and all of the United States notes were pulled from circulation and destroyed. Listen up, here's something important to know about Kennedy's Executive Order 11110. It's actually still in effect, however.
The day you plant the seed is not the day you eat the fruit. Be patient, be humble, keep moving forward. You know that all this hard work you're putting in all day in and all day out will produce the results you've been looking for. Your time is coming. Don't give up, folks. I'm here and there with you. We're holding hands together. We're going to do this together.